What? Wait, hold on. We're talking about Ty Cobb. So what's better, being Ty Cobb being a super racist, or Alex Rodriguez doing steroids?
No, we're just
everybody was super racist.
Me and Steve were talking like the Hall of Fame in baseball is not a character contest. So we're just saying that we understand why Barry Bonds is not in the Hall of Fame because he's a cheater. You know, he's a flaxseed oil user.
That's all it was,
according to him. But Pete Rose, he bet on baseball long after his career was over. And yeah, that was wrong, but the point is that does not negate what he did on the field where he did not performance enhance, so he needs to be in the Hall of Fame.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
and he gambled.
It's just that simple.
And he gambled on his own team,
Yeah.
is what they say.
I agree. I agree. It is kind of silly that Pete Rose isn't in the Hall of Fame.
4,300 hits, and then I think he even named his own kid Ty.
Pete Rose named his kid Ty?
Pete Rose his name kid Ty.
No, he didn't. Wait a minute.
Yeah, he did.
No, wasn't Pete Rose's son in baseball for a while? I don't remember being Ty
I don't know.
Rose.
I think he named his kid Ty.
Was it like Ty a yellow ribbon?
That was his 10th kid. That wasn't his first kid that made it to MLB.
Wait, how many kids does Pete Rose have?
Anybody have? Not as much as Calvin Murphy, but
or Sean Kemp.
No,
or Sean Kemp.
Yeah, so that's the funnest game. Again, I think I've mentioned this. If you're out with your friends, have that fun game of which professional athlete has had the most children. Because you're always wrong. Yeah, I love that one.
The guy Cromartie Rogers from the.
Oh yeah,
he's got like 9.
Yeah. I just don't understand the reckless reproduction. I don't get it, man. Like you've had sex with 9 women and you've gotten 9 of them pregnant. Where does 10 come in?
Well, here's the funny thing. So didn't Will Chamberlain allegedly have sex with 20,000 women? And then how many kids does he have? I've never heard of Will Chamberlain having a kid.
19,200.
For each point he got, he had sex. Is what his plan was.
Does Will Chamberlain have any kids? I don't know. I've never heard of him.
Yeah, you know what? Wait a minute.
That's
you
a good
know
question.
What? See, I knew that story was bullshit because that's true. If he had sex with 20,000 women, unless he was infertile, he would have had to have at least 5,000 children, right? I mean, if you think about...
Well, this is back in the 70s
right.
where there's no nothing. So I'm just saying, like, let's just say, okay, but let's Google this later. Does Will Chamberlain have any children?
John could Google... Oh,
he's a fire watcher. He's a fire watcher. No, he can't Google anything. He's in a dead zone. He's in Alaska.
So that would be interesting. No, because we've looked up all the guys with the most kids...
And you would think Will
he's
Chamberlain,
never on
you would
that
think
list.
Logically,
he's not on the list.
But I've never heard like in the news like Will Chamberlain's kid like inherit. I've never heard anything.
I've never heard anything about that.
So that's interesting. Does Will Chamberlain even have any children? So he's either one, he's lying about how many women he slept with, or he doesn't have any swimmers in his.
I mean, that would be fine. I mean, even if he cut it down by a quarter, 5,000 women.
Let's just say.
I mean, how could he not have a billion kids?
He'd have to have at least 3 to 5 kids. If he just made any mistake.
20,000 women, 3 to 5 kids?
He used protection every time, so good.
You know what? That's so funny. I didn't even think of that. But if you're having sex with 20,000 women, do you even have time to put a condom on? I mean, I feel like you got to have like 5 or 6 at a time. No, Ted, put your phone down. You're not allowed to Google because you will become enamored with that phone and you will forget like an hour later. You'll be like, when are we starting the show?
No, I just want to see if Will Chamberlain has any kids. That's all I want to know.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what, John, do me a favor. I know you're going to listen to this show. It won't help for this show.
He'll be calling in soon.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, but if you could call in,
John's been eaten by a bear.
Yeah,
there's no more.
Dude, I don't know, man. Last thing he said was some bright lights and stuff. I mean, I have not talked to him. He could be on Mars.
It's like Invasion of the Body Snatchers. He's been taken and probed, and who knows what they did with him.
So that's the other thing. Why do all these people come back and tell stories about the aliens probing their asses? Like, wouldn't your brain? I mean, up your nose, checking something else out? I mean, I figure they have to know everything about our asses they will ever want to know.
Well, how come they always pick the most least credible people to kidnap? Is my question.
Well, no one would believe them, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, if you take a hillbilly, nobody's going to believe a hillbilly. I mean, if you take like Nancy Pelosi, at some point...
Wouldn't you kidnap Elon Musk or someone like that?
You want his brain and not his ass. The ass is a better story. That's probably why they do.
Yeah, but not Elon Musk. He is so weird. I have no interest ever in speaking to Elon Musk because you think, he's going to be interesting, but I bet he's so weird, man.
Well, I think he's like on the spectrum. You can't say autism anymore, so you just say he's on the spectrum of like Asperger's or something.
Wait,
and there's an ass in Asperger's. Yes, I know it's ironic.
But wait, you can't say that someone's autistic.
You can't say that anymore. You have to say they're on the spectrum. You have to say they're the spectrum.
But what on the? I don't understand that. That's all. You can't say. That seems so weird to me.
You have to say spectrum.
Wow, Ted. You know what? I feel like
you're not saying spectrum.
having been in a school for 25 years, that I think we say autistic.
Do you say that about everything? You got to be on a spectrum for every problem. HHD and everything. Right?
Is this guy an alcoholic? He's on the spectrum. He is. He's really high up on the spectrum. Yeah, like Teddy and I. He's so high that Teddy and I are like, "Come on up here by us. You're alcoholic. Come on, man." I don't think that's accurate, Ted.
Okay.
Google
it.
Johnny, please Google that and let us know what's happening.
Assuming you haven't been kidnapped or haven't been eaten by a bear.
Yes. Oh, if you have something in your ass right now, and by the way, alien or no, you don't have to Google anything.
Yeah, assuming you're still among us.
that would be. You know what would be the worst? If we found out that if somehow I got a call from somebody and it's just like, I heard you guys making fun of it. Yeah, John's been missing. There was a bright light, and he was up in his little fire watching tower, and now he's gone.
You guys haven't heard from him in a week or two?
I have not heard from him since the last call when he kind of dropped off.
Yeah, the call was cut off, and there was obviously some emergency in the.
Yeah, but you know what?
The Arctic.
You know what the problem is? Like, I have my my phone. I have my phone. It never rings. Like, I hate all the sounds. So my phone, if somebody calls me, it's only by dumb luck that I see them on there. Other than that, I have so many voicemails now. Like, I have 3 people that offered me jobs. I feel so shitty about this. I have 3 people that are calling about jobs. I can see the voicemail they leave. I can read it, and I just keep forgetting to get back to them.
I heard there's a teacher shortage in Niles, so you can go down the street and get a job right now.
Yeah, I can.
They're desperate.
Dude, I can get a job anywhere.
Even you.
Once the nice weather's over, you can get a job because you don't need it this second.
Late October, early November. Yeah.
Listen, if I'm being 100% honest, I am going
about Thanksgiving. After Thanksgiving.
If any future employers are listening to this, pretend like I'm pretending. I'm going for least amount of work, most amount of pay. So there has to be some sort of correlation. Yeah.
It's out there now. There's such a demand. It's out there.
And closest to home. Close commute.
Yeah. Well. I don't want to. It has to be a bike ride away. and by the way, like a BMX bike, not like a 10-speed. Okay. So it's got to be really. I got to do 2 jumps. Yeah. And 1 flip.
Like a road bike, not a 10-speed.
Yeah, not a 10-speed. No,
you still have your BMX bike? That's awesome, yeah.
You know what? I don't have any
Doing wheelies down the street.
Super mongoose, the mongoose.
Yeah, the mongoose, yeah.
Well,
the mongoose.
Here, so we play pickleball. Yes, I'm 55 years old. I play pickleball.
But I heard that's all the rage.
I played as well. It's a great game.
Can you tell? Can you debrief? So is it tennis or what is it, guys?
No, it's like ping pong. It's like standing up ping pong. It's like ping pong on the table.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's really what it is.
So but you're on the tennis court, so it's kind of where the serving line is. That's where you're going into, and there's a line in the middle. It's pretty cool, actually.
And the paddle, what's the paddle?
It's like a larger ping pong racket.
Paddle, but the ball it doesn't bounce as much, so you can really whack the thing.
And is it like a racket ball? Like
wiffle ball.
It's like a wiffle ball. Yeah. So it doesn't go that far, but it's a pretty cool game. But it's taken over the tennis courts in my neighborhood.
And it's like a lowered net, so
same net.
Same net. Okay,
no,
got it.
I think it's lower, isn't it?
No, same net.
Okay.
Oh boy! You know what? My buddy Don.
That's all the rage.
That's all the rage. Don all the time.
That's all the rage.
He is like a pickleball expert. So he's been playing with. He's been playing for a while. He gets in tournaments. He plays mixed doubles. We were actually out playing. We play every Friday afternoon. Right?
I love to play him because I love ping pong.
And the woman that he plays with, he played mixed doubles with. She walks in, her and her husband, and another guy and his wife, and the 4 of them are playing. And I'm just like, oh man, I'm like, he goes, that's the girl I play with in doubles. She's really good. I'm just like, well, she's a girl, but no,
doesn't matter.
Dude, she was killing it.
Can you spike the ball? Remember that movie with what's his name? Not Ben Stiller.
Ben Stiller in volleyball.
He spikes the volleyball and breaks the girl. She's like,
you couldn't. Yeah, it's a wiffle ball.
You could do that though. I've spiked it before.
Yeah, you get up there and you just
you're here with the wiffle ball. Yeah.
Yeah, but you have to scream. This is what I do. So when I hit it at somebody, I scream nut shot. Yeah, and which is weird because we play with some girls, and I went nut shot, and she goes, "Oh, you got me right in the nuts," and I was like, what just happened here? Yeah. But it's a lot of fun. So I it's just one of those weird. It's I like tennis better, but nobody plays tennis anymore. So
well, sounds like pickleball's like definitely less labor. I mean, it's more risk.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're moving around a little bit, but it's not the same as tennis. Yeah.
Gotcha.
No, it is not the same as tennis. Yeah. Okay, I'm sure that everyone listening, there is one pickleball aficionado, and the rest of them are like, "Can you get this fucking show started, please?" Yeah, we're doing that. And yeah, I said fuck. So Yeah, listen, I watched John Oliver last night, and he said fuck like 6 times. Oh, man, I got to stop.
He says it all the time.
But he said it like 6 times.
I got to start watching these guys. Like, is Trevor Noah the John Oliver? Because these guys are, like, popular.
Trevor Noah doesn't because that's live, but John Oliver.
Right. But a lot of these talk show hosts, like, the, who's the guy? I always get those two guys confused. They look the same
Bill
to me.
Maher?
Yeah, there's Maher. And
Conan O'Brien.
Conan O'Brien. No, is he on the air still?
No.
Okay,
no,
he does a podcast.
The other guy who they always complain about Trump nonstop. The two guys,
Stephen Colbert,
Jimmy
Kimmel,
they
all do it, yeah.
And then the other guy who looks
Colbert.
and there's Jimmy Kimmel. But who's the guy who looks like Jimmy Kimmel a little bit? I always get him confused.
Oh, that other guy.
The other guy.
Yeah,
he's like a Jimmy Kimmel 2.0 version.
Yeah. They all kind of have the same shtick, right? They come on and 5 minutes of Trump and what a douchebag he is, and. Yeah, I mean it's
that's their career. I mean, when you think about it, that's a great career. I mean, you just say that, and you're making a few $1 million a year, just hating on just who, whether it's him or somebody else, but that's your consistent theme. So
Colbert made a crap load on that.
Yeah,
I loved his show back on Comedy Central because he would just make fun of the Republican Party, but pretend like he was Republican. But now he's just gone all Trump.
So here's the funny thing.
That was the funniest.
He was great.
And I hate him now.
So
I just won't listen.
So here's the funny thing. He's a pretty witty guy. But so remember like Johnny Carson back in the day. I mean, he's obviously long gone, but the point is, he never said anything political. He would just bring people on. He had Ed McMahon as sidekick. He'd bring on celebrities, and that's what a talk show is supposed to be. You're not supposed to be a political commentator.
Well, they go for what's funny and what's in the news, and that's what's in the news. I mean, we're going to talk politics today, Teddy. Some really fun politics. But we're not going to mention Donald Trump's name at all today.
So we're no better than them. Then.
Too late.
We are no better than them. In fact, we're so much not better than them that we need to get this thing started, man.
All right,
let's get it started.
Hey, everybody. My name is Matt, and welcome to the Real 3 Idiots podcast. With me, as always, is the exacerbating but sweet-smelling Teddy.
Gracias. Great to be back. Hola.
Yeah, sweet-smelling, that's not KG, that's TG. That's totally gay, but anyway.
No, that's only kind. It's KG. It's kind of gay.
I sprayed on some Axe deodorant before this show.
And joining us for the first time is my brother-in-law, Steve. Steve, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Glad to be here. I'm a virgin to the 3 idiots. I'm glad to be here, though.
Don't listen. That's the last thing you want to say to that. Yeah. Ted's feeling
virgin. There's nothing virgin about you, Steve.
Yeah, absolutely not. I've actually sat with you guys so many times before and after basketball, so it's like we're just back.
Exactly. Right. I mean, that's the thing. When somebody keeps asking me, it's like, "What's the show?" I'm just like, it's guys getting drunk or being drunk or getting drunk in a bar and saying all those things that you wish you could say, and you get to hear us talking about.
Except it's a lot cooler than what you're saying.
Oh wow, yeah,
obviously,
yeah. And you can probably tell that we are not in the brewery today. We are not at 1090 Brewery today. We are back in the studio.
I love you, 1090 Brewery, but it was a lot of pressure out there.
Teddy,
you guys did a really good job, though. I liked the live thing. I was at the first one, not the second one, but I heard great things. Right. But it was good. I know it was probably different for you guys.
It's a little different. Yeah, it's a little different.
But now my sister, she was the only one non-family that went to both shows, by the way. She had nothing to do tonight, so she's really upset.
Oh, no.
She was going to drive me, and I'm like, well, it's in his basement.
I set up here. So here's the weird thing. So, number one, I set up the basement so that we kind of have like a little green room, like a little listening room. So people could, I guess, if they wanted to, come and listen to the show, and it'd be a heck of a lot easier to hear. But I'll be honest with you. Here's the reason, the main reason we are doing the show in the studio, in the basement, is the setup. I got to be honest, man. It took so long for me to set all this stuff up. And it just wasn't right, and it was so hard. And I'll be 100% honest with you. It took an hour to set it up, and then by the time we're ready to go, I was so stressed. I felt like the last 2 shows, I was just not on my game at all.
Wait, where's your personal assistant to do this for you?
Yeah, you know what, Teddy? Teddy, since we've made not a ton of money, I haven't been able to hire anybody. But yeah, it's just the setup. It is so hard to do. Like, I have way more respect for my buddy Mick, who is in a band, and the guys who do this, and they take all this stuff out, and they make sure everything sounds good.
It's a process. It's a process.
Bring Mick back just to be the sound guy, not to be on the show, but just to be the sound guy.
Well, that's a full-time job. That's what they're called, the sound guy, because it's a full-time job to do that thing. So a lot of respect to that.
Pay him in beer. Profession. But you were really stressed, but Ted wasn't stressed out at all. Right,
Ted does nothing.
Oh, okay.
Ted literally shows up. He has nothing. He does nothing. Yeah, and then
I'm just a useful idiot for now.
As long as you're an idiot, that's all that matters.
Until I outlive my usefulness, then I'm useless.
Ted, that would be terrible if you were a useless idiot. I mean, we'd have to put you down like a dog, man. It would be terrible. Okay, so before we get rolling, and man, we've been rolling for a long time, I want to do that thing that Ted hates so much. I want to thank Jen Rose for being our guest last week.
Why would I hate that? I love Jen Rose.
Remember, I asked you to thank, when Brian was on the show, I asked you to thank Brian, and you couldn't get over the fact that you had to thank a guy who wasn't sitting here.
Oh, that's true.
You made such a huge deal out of it. Like I was asking, like, hey, Ted, before we go, could you blow Brian? You're like, blow him? Yeah, I need you to blow Brian, last week's guest. Just blow him right here on the...
So should I thank Babe Ruth for hitting 50 home runs back in 1935? As long as we're thanking people.
Man, you are so hey, folks,
I said like 60.
Yeah,
let's just stop living in the past.
Listen, I set the studio up.
So forget about Jen Rose. Let's move on.
Yeah, so I set the studio up so that Ted is even further away from me. So it's going to take me, if you hear emptiness and then two guys wrestling that turns into sex, that is me kicking the shit out of Ted for being a smart ass.
Pillow fight.
All right, so she knocked it out of the park. I was really excited about it.
She did a great job.
She did. She said she would come back, and so I can't wait. I'm really excited about that. And so a couple of things. So since we talked to her, my golf game is better. I feel more positive about not having a job, and I'm drinking less. Wait.
What's your definition? What's your definition of less?
One less than normal.
No, I just pour less into the cup each time. Yeah, I still drink the same amount. I just drink less at one time.
Yeah, there's more volume, there's more consistency, but just less time. Yeah. Okay, got it.
But, as soon as she was done, right, as soon as we were done, because I'm always thinking about the next show, right, I got to thinking about what could we learn from other people about, like, longevity, like living longer, right? Because that's really what it's all about, right? Everybody gets to that age, when you're young, you're like I said we were golfing this morning real early, and we were talking about, walking around and guys getting hurt and stuff. And I said, man, I would have taken so much better care of myself if I didn't think I was going to be dead by 25. I was absolutely sure. So, so I started thinking about, like, what can we learn from people? And then I thought, there are two people on this planet that are probably the most useful to learn something about longevity, right? And, maybe if we kind of learned about them, that could give some tips to our listeners. And the two people I thought of were Keith Richards and Ozzy Osbourne.
Very good.
What about what's the guy? Tommy Lee.
Okay, see, they're all the same guy, right? And I'm
Ozzy
thinking,
Osbourne was like drinking the piss of like Motley Crue band members. So is that the key to it?
Whoa, what?
You didn't see that movie? Oh, it's a great movie.
No, wait, there's a movie about Ozzy Osbourne?
Yeah, well, it's about Motley Crue, and they take a piss and he drinks the piss, and I guess that's the key to longevity.
And Tommy Lee was drinking I think 2 gallons of vodka a day for about 2 years,
vodka,
and then he quit.
Mixed with piss?
Yeah, well, I think he started 9 a.m. He would just fill up a big cup of vodka with a eyedropper of lemon in it and just drink that. So here's the problem, guys. Some people are just genetically predisposed to just have long lives. Like for example, God forbid if someone gets cancer, you can have a great diet, you can take all the vitamins you want, but if your body's just predisposed to do certain things, that's just a genetic lottery.
Right, but I think there's things. Yeah,
you don't want to tempt fate. I mean, you don't eat 3 Big Macs at 2 a.m. before you go to sleep. You want to do
those two guys had to have the worst habits in the world. What, Keith Richards is 80 now, right?
Yeah,
and Ozzy's probably.
Well, there was a joke with Keith Richards. Some comic told a joke about Keith Richards. If there was ever a nuclear holocaust, only the cockroaches and Keith Richards would survive.
Do you see? That's why I picked him. So that's literally why I picked him, because I think we would all agree that they probably should have been dead 50 years ago.
Sure.
Right? Yeah. I mean, there's no doubt about it, right? So here's some tips.
And they look great.
And they do. So here's some tips that I got from Ozzy. Okay, so I want to start with Ozzy Osbourne because he has his own show and everything. He's written books and everything.
Nothing about drinking piss, though, right?
So I never heard that. Whatever. It's
the Motley Crue movie that just came out. It was like a Netflix special, but it was pretty good.
Wait, didn't he used to bite the heads off of bats at his concerts?
At the concert and stuff, and drink the blood and stuff.
Gotcha.
Oh, okay, so there's more tips. So if you're not feeling well, I mean, I don't know how the COVID thing in bats work, but give it a shot.
Or sacrifice a child. Just kidding.
No, it's fine. I mean, don't do that, okay? Just don't do that. All right. So here's what he said. He said curing hangovers is easy. Okay, Ozzy said that. Wake up and get shit-faced all over again. He said he's
here the dog.
Yeah. He said he did it for 40 years. 40 years. He got up and he drank every single day over and over again.
Okay.
There's a guy, for example, when he talks, I cannot understand a word he says, but when he sings, crystal clear.
Yeah.
Crystal clear.
Yeah, I don't get it. Okay, ready? He has advice on changing a diaper. Okay, he said, just walk in the room and do it.
or just get your nanny because you're worth millions of dollars.
Yeah, did he change many diapers?
So earlier in his career, okay, in his life. So I don't know if you know this. He was married. He was married first when he was with Black Sabbath. Okay.
What, to Sharon Osbourne or somebody else?
No, somebody
later.
else.
That was later.
Somebody else. So that was the second one, right?
Okay, yeah.
So he was married for the first person, and when he was in Black Sabbath, and I don't know if you guys know this, Ozzy Osbourne didn't quit Black Sabbath. Okay, he got kicked out.
He got kicked out
for being too much of a drunk and a drug addict.
In a rock band. That's impressive. That's impressive.
Right.
That's hard to do.
That is.
So basically, he was a better rocker than his bandmates were. Is what he's saying. So
I guess
they couldn't keep up.
So allegedly, he told stories where he's like, oh, I never drank when I was on stage and blah blah blah, and the guys were just. So he says that, and the guys just like, what? No, he was drunk all the time. Yeah, no, yeah, he was terrible.
Well, wasn't Jimi Hendrix like mainstreaming heroin in his neck when he was?
But see, that didn't work because he was 26.
27. He's part of the 27 club.
Group, yeah.
He's part of the 27 club.
So no heroin in the neck, but drink every day.
Drink every day. Okay.
Right.
So Ozzy, if you're
listening.
So if you're wondering, Ozzy was an excellent driver. It took him only 19 times to pass his driving test. 19 times, and he said, "No, he said 19 times." You ready? And this is what he said. He said, "Just stick with it, and then someone will pass you because you're famous." So there you go. If you're bad at driving,
thank you, Derek Rose.
Yeah. He must have been drunk every one of those driving tests, right? It was a DUI. That's why they had to fail him.
I would imagine. So for all the old Asian women out there that are just terrible drivers, and you can just keep doing it, and hopefully you'll end up famous and you'll get your driver's license.
But when you're loaded like Ozzy Osbourne, wouldn't you just have somebody drive you around? I mean,
you should.
Yeah, like Henry Ruggs from the Oakland former Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah, he should have had someone drive him around. Yeah. Or how about Tiger
Woods
when he crashed off, when he fell off, when he drove off the cliff in California? You think a guy's worth $1 billion could have somebody just drive him from one venue to the other?
I never understand it. All those people should never drive.
Yeah. So wait a minute.
Especially when they're drinking. There's no reason for it.
So Tiger Woods, way back, is getting chased out of his driveway by his wife. What do you call the driver? I feel like at some point you got to drive.
The funny thing, he got that. It wasn't a DUI, but he was like doped up on just like whatever medication because he was on his 9th back surgery. So he wasn't drunk per se, but he got pulled over. That famous video a few years ago. He got handcuffed on the side of the road by Florida police, and then he crashed his car, a brand new Hyundai Genesis because it was a Genesis Open.
Oh,
and of course they gave him a brand new car. I'm just saying. Can someone just drive this guy around? Because obviously he's not capable of driving a car.
You know what? That's
Ted,
true.
You should drive him around but you don't want to golf with him though. But you'll drive him around.
No, Ted is a terrible driver. Steve, Ted is a terrible driver.
Better than Tiger,
and yet 10 times better than Tiger.
No. Ted is. Oh my God.
I'll go on record. Tiger Woods. I'm sure he's a quote unquote a nice guy, but I'd rather not golf with. There's like 5 guys in front of Tiger Woods I'd rather golf with.
You're high right now.
No, I'm serious.
Yes, you are. No way. No way. I'm going to get the email that says, "Hey, Ted says yes. You and Ted can go golf with Tiger Woods."
Well, if I was invited, of course I'd go. But if I was given a choice, like 5 guys I golf with in front of Tiger Woods, I got 5 guys in front of Tiger Woods I golf with.
You might have a chance to beat him. That back 9 and the British Open. Ooh,
that'd be great. Teddy with strokes. Oh my God, that would be. Oh man, you know what? You know what would be a problem if Teddy beat Tiger Woods even with strokes. I would never hear the end of it. It would be the worst day of my life. It really would. Okay, so one more thing that Ozzy talked about, and this is real. He says if you want to send someone a box of shit, do it the right way, like his wife did. Put it in a Ziploc bag inside a Tiffany's box. Yeah, so that way people will want to open it.
But you're going to smell it.
No, it's in the Ziploc bag. It's in the Ziploc bag. And I forgot one thing.
A lot of symbolism there.
This is an Ozzy Osbourne dating tip. When you're dating and you're talking to your girl, don't refer to your dick as a meat thermometer, a one-eyed yogurt slinger, or a cheesy bratwurst until after you're married.
After you're married, all bets are off, right?
It seems yeah. I mean, if Sharon Osbourne put up with whatever, like Teddy's right.
Well, she was drunk and taking Vicodin all the time too. So who knows what she knows?
Yeah.
She's obviously her judgment's seriously compromised.
Well, yeah, sure. That's like that thing with Bobby Brown and Whitney Houston, where she's so sweet, and it's like, no, she's just as high and just as screwed up as he is.
Like 24/7.
Yeah. Okay, so Keith Richards has some tips also.
His has got to be more interesting. I got a feeling.
So
Keith Richards
Keith Richards has some tips. This is what Keith Richards said. He said when he was a junkie, and I guess he was
when he was. I like that.
I guess he was shooting heroin
as if he's
all the time.
not right now.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how he lives his life, but here's what he said. He said he liked to play tennis to help him even out.
What about pickleball?
You know they didn't have pickleball,
Yeah.
so
well, pickleball's the new tennis, basically, or new ping pong.
So
new ping pong.
So you're saying, Teddy, we need to do some heroin?
Or if we did, we need to play some pickleball immediately right afterwards.
So I'm literally playing pickleball tomorrow afternoon.
Really?
Do either one here? Let's talk later about one of you guys has some heroin. Ted, can I have some of your heroin?
I don't have any heroin.
Yeah.
I've actually never even seen heroin. I have no idea what it looks like.
Ted, I'm winking too. That's right. No heroin for Ted. Okay.
The needle is out.
Keith Richards said, "Don't OD in someone else's bathroom. It's bad manners."
Okay. I'll remember that on the way out. Okay.
Okay. So when you get drunk, and this is my favorite one, when you get drunk, don't focus on the fact that you made it home. Understand the mystery of how you got there.
We might have all done that before, actually, that one.
That's pretty deep.
That is deep.
Yeah, that is pretty deep.
That's like Confucius deep.
And for all the people that have been on the show and talked about that stupid cheese podcast, Keith Richards says cheese is wrong. Cheese is wrong.
He's lactose intolerant or no?
I don't think there's anything that hasn't been inside Keith Richards.
Is there really?
And I mean it just like I said it. Yes, I do.
All those are interesting, but the tennis is just out of left field. So he does a little exercise in between all this nonsense.
Yeah, so could you imagine doing... I don't know what heroin does to you, but I've been, on some other different...
But you have to... heroin, you have to inject it, right? Which is pretty scary. So any drug I have to inject with a needle, that's actually pretty scary.
Right, but just being... I don't know if I could do tennis drunk. If I was drunk.
Well, alcohol is different than heroin or like bath,
that's what I mean.
Bath salt or LSD or PCP.
You could probably do it. You just don't know that you're on anything, so it doesn't matter. You can do anything.
Yeah.
So maybe I would be a great pickleball player if Ted would give me some of his heroin.
Yep.
Oh, I got to tell you a good drug story when you're ready.
When I'm ready for a drug story.
Yeah.
Steve, are you ready for a drug story?
I'm ready.
I'm ready for a drug story. Go for it.
So when I was like 10 years old, my mom... Why is this
10
funny?
years old?
Why is this funny? Why is this funny?
Years old.
You're telling us a drug story.
Why is this funny?
And it starts with when I was 10 years old and my mom.
Look, I spit on my grave when I was 7. I spit on my grave when I was 7. And it was a good movie, by the way. And those fuckers got what they deserved. But anyway,
Academy Award winning. I spit on your grave.
So anyway, my mom took me to a local police precinct when I was like 10 to watch a seminar about drugs. So the police, they had all these...
when you were 10? That's pretty intense.
I was like 10 or 11. I was young. I was definitely...
You know what? He was just about to meet Joe DiMaggio and Bernard Randolph, so he needed to understand this.
And so the cops... And this is back in the 70s, so all the drugs were laid on the table. Obviously not real drugs, but it's like just facsimiles of them, like, uppers, downers, roofie, whatever they were called back in the 70s. I can't remember all the names. But then, here's where it got weird. So then they started like a video, and this is like Faces of Death. They showed people getting beaten to death. Over a drug deal's gone bad. Yeah, it was crazy.
Were you the only one here, or was there a group of people?
No, there's like a group of people.
Okay.
It's like, but there's kids. It's like you're in a, I thought it was just like they're just going to do like show and tell, but then they show us like it's like a video slide. It wasn't it wasn't like a movie. It wasn't like a movie, but it was like slideshows. But they're like crime scenes, like real crime scenes of like people.
Ted, that is show and tell. They told you how people can get killed by a baseball bat, and then they showed you how to do it.
Being murdered during like drug deals gone wrong, and then this one guy, I guess he took PCP. And then I guess he put his arms out like straight like this, like he was Jesus, and he died like that. And they had to break his arms down to get him in his coffin. So that's why I learned like never take PCP.
So it scared you sober though. So
yeah, it was like scared straight. It's like scared straight.
Yeah, except
don't do PCP.
Ted, you were not scared straight.
Don't do PCP.
You were not scared.
Well, number one, I don't even know what PCP looks like. I would never ask for PCP, and I would never. I have no desire to find PCP.
Where would you ask for PCP?
Exactly.
Do we walk into Howard Street? We're like, listen, Teddy needs a Crown and Diet in a short glass. I'll take a Great Lakes Amber Ale. And let's see, French fries or PCP, Ted?
Yeah. Isn't Angel Dust the same as PCP?
I have no idea.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I have no idea either.
So, hold on.
So what about...
I don't want to have an idea.
Johnny,
I don't
you have
want to know.
another thing to Google,
I don't want to know.
So what about the other videos where they're showing guys doing cocaine and they're like, God, he's having a really good time. Did that make you want to do cocaine?
No,
yes.
So
it made me want to do lots
Who was that guy back in the 1980s? He was the number 1 draft pick of the Celtics, Len Bias from Maryland. He died died of a cocaine overdose.
Yeah. Maryland, right?
Yeah, Maryland. He went to Maryland. Number one draft pick from the Celtics. Took cocaine, died. And here's the funny thing, like, how high do you need to get, man? Like, how much stimulation do you need to feel good about yourself?
Teddy, if I was the number 1 draft pick,
in the
NBA,
and your body's your temple.
I would do tons of cocaine.
Dude, your body's your temple.
And I think the guy who picked me would probably do tons of cocaine. No, I get it. It doesn't make any sense to
That's
me.
like Jason Williams getting on a crotch rocket motorcycle and crashing into a telephone pole because he can't drive a motorcycle and fucks up his leg. Yeah. He's the number one draft pick of the Bulls.
So listen,
why would you do that?
Listen, I feel like I'm not going to teach anymore. I feel like my job is going to be driving people around who are really drunk. Like I'll just hang out in the bar with them.
Uber driver. That's what it's called.
Yeah, but I mean, I know, but they're personal drivers.
But just really rich people because you want to be compensated.
Really rich people. And not Scottie Pippen because I heard, that
No Tippin' Pippin?
Pippen. All right, Teddy, we are 30 minutes into this and we haven't even touched Ted's Tips for 20s. Are you ready for Ted's Tips for 20s?
I am. So
do we have a song?
In the spirit, there's no song. Yeah,
today,
there's no song.
But I will get back. I will get on that.
We're not that talented to have a song tonight, but here's the thing. So I have two potential tips. So the first tip, I'm going to say one thing, and then
you have pressure on you because Jen did not like your sandbagging tips for 20 last week.
Yeah, she did not like that at all.
Really?
And I'll give you a hint.
Really?
He already said that one, so I told him that after the show. Yeah, he already did that one. Yeah.
She didn't like the sandbagging, which I appreciate.
Yeah, she did not. She did not appreciate that. When you told your daughter to lay back and not be the best she can be, she had a problem with that.
Well, I didn't say.
And so did I.
I didn't say don't be the best you can be. I said don't be the best you can be right this minute. Be the best you can be at some indeterminate point in the future.
That's sandbagging.
Yeah, that's sandbagging.
And you know what? If you don't like it, don't hate the player, hate the game. I'm just playing the hand I'm dealt, man.
All right. So Teddy, do you have some tips?
I do.
Two?
So I'm going to say one thing.
Wait. Okay. Don't say any tips yet.
No,
we have to
yet.
do our sponsor. I have a sponsor to do. Okay.
Yes.
So, but you do have the tips and you're ready to do them.
Yes.
Okay. So hopefully Jen is listening, right? And probably not after all she's just heard, but hopefully she's listening and she'll appreciate these more than the last one, okay? All right, so here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, the three idiots are proud to announce the most incredible thing to happen since putting peanut butter with chocolate and batteries in dildos, the first vegan strip club, the Eggplant and the Peach. That's right, a strip club that anyone can enjoy that caters to the vegan inside all of us. It has everything a regular strip club has to offer without the meat. All of the strip club, none of the guilt. And no yeast infections here. They are gluten-free. Come down to the Eggplant and the Peach, and we will make your dreams grow. Remember, you are what you eat.
I've had some good food at a strip bar, in the past.
Vegan?
Not that vegan. I mean,
this is a new market that you got.
Yeah,
on tap.
not like the what's the veggie or the what's it called now? The new the veggie
Impossible burger.
Impossible. Yeah. Obviously, that
it's
didn't
good.
exist back
it's
then.
good. I like
it.
Yeah. I enjoy it. I enjoy the heck out of that.
I've had good food. Not a big deal.
I cannot believe you're the only person. So I told you. I mean, everybody knows the story. I've been to Teddy, and I just wanted a hamburger. And at 2:00 in the morning, I could not get my hamburger that I wanted, but I did get sadness and failure. Yeah. Okay. Teddy. Ted's Tips for 20s. God, you know what? Next week, I promise I'll have a song. Okay?
Will you? By who?
By me. I'll write that damn song. I don't need John. I don't even miss him, so go to hell.
Firewatcher can do that on the side. I mean, you got a lot of time when you're fire watching, so he should be able to do
you know
that.
what? That's bullshit. You're right.
You should be able to do that.
Yeah, so you know what? I'm going to go ahead and encourage John while he's sitting there watching fires, and he's up there masturbating. You know he is, right? I'm going to encourage him to put down his pen or put down his dick, pick up his pen, and write a couple of songs.
Wait, were you on our team when we were the Fire Dragons, or that preceded
yes.
you?
Yeah, the basketball team.
The basketball team, yeah.
Well, I'm going to tell you what a fire dragon is. Wait, not this minute.
No,
not this minute. Not this
Ted,
minute.
Ted, please
I recall
don't.
this.
Not this minute.
Please don't, Ted.
Not this minute. Okay.
All right. Ted's Tips for 20s. Ted, start.
Okay, so here's tip number one, and if you scream at me because I told this before, then I'm going to go to Plan B. So the first tip is let's see. I can't read my own handwriting.
Wait, it says
okay.
Readers.
Yeah. Here's okay. So the tip is don't die.
What the fuck?
That's good. Keith, it fits with Keith
Ted.
Richards and
Don't die.
All right, Jen, what'd you think of that one? Don't die.
5-year plan. Don't die.
5 year?
5-year plan. Don't die.
In your 5-year plan, it's don't die.
No, it's a lifetime plan. Don't die. I mean, unless you actually have to in old age.
But this is
in old age.
This is tips for 20, so they're 29.
Yeah,
you have a 5-year plan.
and actually, this applies to everybody.
Okay.
No, that makes sense.
But especially
right?
20s.
Don't do something so stupid.
No, because you know why? Because
that you would die.
because 20-year-olds have a tendency to be a little more impulsive than older people because they think they're invincible and blah blah blah. So
I like it.
So the tip is don't die, and let me extrapolate on that. So basically, here's the thing. Here's the bottom line, guys. Darwin always wins. Yeah. So when you do stupid shit, Darwin always wins. He's like 100. He's like 1,000 in terms of winning percentage. So for example, I'll give you an example. So there was a guy, I think he was the starting tight end of like USC, good-looking young kid. He's tatted up. He's got the smoking hot girlfriend. He went hiking in the California mountains. Blah blah blah. Fell off the side of a fucking cliff, and he's dead. Yeah, sure, he can bench press 400 pounds, but when you fall off 600 feet, you can't survive that shit. So, I mean,
okay, so
good.
Okay, so I
like
like
it. So the point is, don't put yourself in a position where your life is in jeopardy. So you hear about these.
So don't drive with Tiger Woods.
No, don't drive with Tiger Woods. Yeah, don't want Tiger Woods your designated driver. So I mean, like these influencers. People who take like selfies on the side of like the side of a mountain, or
like that guy
over
who took
railing.
a picture. Guy who took a picture of Mount Vesuvius, right?
And then he fell into it.
Yeah. His phone fell in.
Yeah.
And like an idiot, he fell in there and he almost died.
Oh, he lived?
Yeah.
That guy lived?
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
Oh, man.
So,
I mean, there's some mic problems.
They all think they're invincible, and we all did the same thing when we were young. We did stupid things. And we,
don't do 21 shots on your 21st birthday. Sounds really nice in theory.
I did that. I did that.
Yeah, I lived through
unless you like paralysis, coma, and death.
No, man,
as your birthday present.
That was...
Don't do that.
I survived, but I started throwing over my shoulder, and no one knew what I was doing.
That's
until
smart.
I was spilling on the table behind me, and people were screaming at me.
Well, you're the exception, not the rule.
Yeah.
So So, folks in your 20s, just be smart out there. You don't have to impress your friends, because a live coward is better than a dead hero.
Ooh, that's deep.
That is pretty deep, Teddy.
Yeah, because if you're not here, you ain't no good to no one.
That's 100% true. I think we've done some really people have done some really stupid things.
Shit. Yeah.
So okay.
A lot of people in the prime. I mean that's why I stopped reading the news, because I always read about young people, just doing dumb things. It's not their fault, because they're young. They want to do something impulsive. They think it's cool at the time.
Oh yeah.
And then they're dead, and it's like it's tragic. It's tragic, nobody wants to see that shit.
Yeah, you're trying to be super cool, and a lot of times alcohol's involved, alcohol or drugs,
right?
Yeah,
sure. Or just you're trying to impress your friends, you're trying to keep up with the Joneses, you're trying to do some shit that, like, hey, my friends are going to, you're trying to one up somebody.
Right.
And it's just not worth it.
No, I 100% agree.
And here's what happens. When somebody dies in the world, because people die every day, here's what happens. Let's just say a quote unquote a beloved figure dies. Here's what happens. Oh my God. Oh, thoughts and prayers. Blah blah blah. And then 5 minutes later, hey, what can we get on the menu at Taco Bell? Nobody gives a shit, right? I mean, so because there's why? Because there's 8 billion people in the world, and you're not that fucking important in the scheme of things.
No. Unfortunately, yeah.
You're not that fucking important.
It's 100% true.
Because there's a 2.0 version of you somewhere out there who's a fucking better version of you that's going to take your place in about 10 minutes. So if you fuck something up,
you know what?
That's your fault,
Ted. And here's why I'm not 100% sure that's true. I cannot imagine that. Let's just say you did a David Carradine, right? And you did a little like chokey jerky, and you died. There is no way.
What, he did the autoerotic strangulation thing?
Oh yeah. There is no way that I could find another Ted. There's no way on this planet that I could find maybe somebody like Ted.
Yeah,
but not another Ted.
But there's a guy down the street who's like similar. It's good enough.
No, Bike Short Bob is down the street. That's not going to happen. Bike Short Bob is not going to be part of the show.
The only thing he just won't you talk on the microphone. He'll take the microphone and do this, and you'll never speak again.
Oh my God!
So those tips were good, and Keith Richards and Ozzy Osbourne listened to that for 60 years. They didn't die. They did a lot of stupid shit, but somehow.
But there's
their own tips.
I don't know. Heroin and tennis seems like it's pretty close to death.
There's exceptions to every rule, so you can't take the exception and extrapolate that to everybody. Because like anything in life, when you have 8 billion people, there's bound to be 1 or 2 or like 1% who just do everything wrong, and they just somehow, by the grace of God or just pure luck, just survive it, or good genetics. But don't assume that's going to be you.
No, I agree.
Don't assume that's going to be
you.
So
how did Sister Jean, I heard, is turning 103.
She's 103.
103.
Sister Jean. Yeah.
What is she doing? Yeah. Does she have tips? Does she have any tips for 103?
Yeah.
Stay away from men? What's her?
No, her thing was the heroin thing also. If you're going to do heroin, play tennis to even out. Tennis. Yeah, she loves tennis. She loves heroin. She loves tennis.
Bath salt.
Yeah. Okay, so, you know what I forgot? Tons of people are voting today, right? Tons of people are voting today.
For what?
Some primaries, right? So I just want to do a quick shout out to the people in Florida, okay? So everybody in Florida, I hope you made the right choice today when you were voting in the Republican primaries for the House of Representatives, okay?
Gates, I already voted for him.
So there's 3 guys running, okay? So Mark Lombardo and Greg Merck, who are not under investigation for having sex with a 17-year-old girl for money, taking her across state lines for that sex act and obstructing justice, and friend of the show Matt Gaetz is under investigation for having sex with a 17-year-old girl for money, taking her across state lines for sex, and obstructing justice. So I hope that you guys picked wisely. I hope you picked wisely.
I live in Florida part-time. I already voted for Matt Gaetz.
No, that
Great
is,
guy.
So, and you heard the extra thing with this, right? That,
but he's not even a senator. He's like a congressman, right?
He's just, yeah.
So if I remember my constitutional law, there's like 435 Congress people, and so their vote is kind of like minuscule.
But Ted, you have a choice of 3.
It's minuscule.
2 of them are not under investigation for having underage sex. Oh, and by the way, haven't had their girlfriend get on a grand jury and say that he did do it. Yes, Mark Lombardo and Greg Merck did not have their girlfriends say that, yes, they had sex with a 17-year-old, taking her across state lines.
So here's actually the better question. Why do we have the most horrible people running for politics?
I have no idea. But
why can't just like a normal person?
But you guys heard the extra part of this, right? So some guy called up Getz, right, and tried to extort him for $25 million, right? So this is what he said. He goes, "Hey man, if you give me $25 million, and it's such a giant number, which is weird, I can talk to Biden for you and get the charges dropped." $25 million.
And that's never going to happen.
And who's this guy? Is it Jared Kushner? Jared Kushner?
Yeah,
or?
I have no idea. Some moron, right? And of course, immediately, because he's terrible at what he does, he got caught. Yeah. So he's going to jail for this.
You know, that's like the hitman who says, "I'll kill somebody for $5 for you." Somebody who hires a hitman for $10. It's the same thing. Oh, that actually just happened, by the way. Some guy tried to hire a hitman for $15. And
for $15.
So some guy tried to hire a hitman. He went to hire a hitman for $15 to kill like a middle-aged man went to kill like a teenager for $15. And obviously the FBI, the CIA, and every law enforcement agency was listening in on that.
$15? What kind of quality debt? What kind of quality murderist?
He needs a broker. He needs a broker to help him out.
Yeah, it was like a stenographer. They're like, "Oh yeah, sure." And you want to fly her body over Wrigley Field with a banner? Sure, no problem. Yeah.
I think $15. He just took the money and just went the hell out of there.
$15? I mean, does that get you 2 Big Macs? Does $15? I mean, if somebody says they'll do it for $15, you can't even believe. Listen,
it gets you a plea bargain for 30 years.
Here, I'll tell you right now. If you got stung by a jellyfish and you gave me $15, I wouldn't piss on your leg to take the sting out for $15. I wouldn't do it. Sorry. That's just me. Okay, so there's a couple of things going on that we got to get to that are really big, and this thing, man. There's 2 things, and they both made me pretty mad. Okay, so number one, there's a woman in Saudi Arabia who is going to prison for 34 years.
Heard about that,
right? For getting on Twitter and protesting human rights in her country. She's going to jail for 34
it's funny. She did not even tweet. She retweeted the tweets from somebody else's tweets, and she got 34 years for that. So it wasn't even her ideas. She just agreed with them and retweeted them.
Well, here's the weirdest part. So her first original sentence was 6 years. Okay, her first original sentence was 6 years. She appealed, and they added 28 more years.
That's like reverse.
Welcome to Saudi Arabia, right?
I mean, what she needs is Dennis Rodman to go get her out of there. That's what she needs.
Oh yeah, Dennis Rodman's going to Russia to get out Brittany Griner.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
How can you not get her name right? It's Grenier, but
Grenier.
So he is not going now.
Oh, he's not going.
Yeah, he's not going because the federal government said that he is not representing the U.S. government, and he would just make it worse.
Well, no, he wasn't.
How?
Well, he wasn't representing the government in North Korea when he got out a couple. He did get out a couple of hostages, like a couple of people who were being held because Kim Jong-un loves the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wrote a letter to Kim Jong-un, and they let the guy go
Russia,
in like a week.
And North Korea is helping Russia right now, so I don't see how this doesn't... Look, the worst-case scenario is he goes there and nothing happens, but here's what I was thinking. What if we sent some other people, and we told you, you're in jail, right? If you can get Brittany Griner back here, and a couple other people, right? Like Bill Cosby, Harvey Weinstein, right? Mel Gibson. You guys, listen, all is forgiven if you can get her back. If you can't, you got to stay. You can't come back.
It's a win-win. I'm amazed at Dennis Rodman. It's just like he was a guy that
he's like 64 years old. He's like 62. He's an old dude now.
He looks great. He looks great.
He looks
great.
But, like they couldn't get him to show.
Easy, Ted.
I mean, no, that guy looks good.
Ted, easy.
KG, kind of gay. Yeah. But again, like he was, they couldn't even have him show up to games and practices. He was hanging out at the Crow Bar. That was the bar he was at, not the Exit. You guys talked about that a little while ago.
Oh, right.
But he couldn't do anything, and now like he's going to North Korea with one of our biggest military threats, and now he's offering to do this in Russia.
Well,
it is actually pretty cool, to be honest with you. And if he can do it, who the fuck cares?
Right. But I don't. But you know what? I don't think anyone's ever said that Dennis Rodman was a mean guy, or I don't ever heard. Have you ever heard a story where he was mean to anybody? He was just pretty eccentric and out there.
No, he was good at what he did, and on the court he was just an instigator. He wasn't mean spirited. He never beat anybody up. He basically provoked people to attack him, and he would just chill out. So
but even off the court,
so he was pretty smart.
You've never heard anything bad.
He didn't do anything bad.
No, you've never heard anything bad about Dennis Rodman. You know what? Dennis Rodman
never committed any crimes. He wasn't drunk. He wasn't any DUIs like Harry Ruggs, right?
Oh man, that
guy's fucked.
That guy's going to jail for life.
Yeah, he's fucked.
Yeah,
and he's out of the NFL. Yeah, he's gone.
Dude, he's out of life.
He's persona non grata.
That's the thing. I mean, we say all these weird things, but he's actually probably a pretty fun guy to hang out with.
He's like Columbo. You just thought he was an idiot, but he's actually smarter than you think.
Absolutely.
Okay,
he's
but Dennis Rodman's a real person, and Columbo was a made-up TV character.
No, but the point is, like, everyone Dennis Rodman. He's like, he's just, he's flaky and reliable. He's chaotic.
Right.
But when you look at the body of his work, he's actually pretty smart.
Okay, so Dennis Rodman, we want you on the show. I will get if you reach out to me, you're on. I will reach out to you, and we'll get Dennis Rodman on the show.
Sure.
Okay.
Be a great guest.
So back to this chick. Okay. So I just want to make sure that this. Okay. So, this is the weird thing. So one of the reasons that she's busted is that there was some asshole who worked for Twitter had taken bribes from the some guy close to the Saudi clown prince, and to spy on people and get information from these people who were, in or around or talking about Saudi Arabia. And, they caught this guy, two guys, one guy escaped, but they caught this guy, and he was helping them to get information, right? And
he was like an informant.
Yeah.
Like an informant, yeah.
And here's the thing. And I get this, and this is one of the reasons, and I told Steve before you got here, Teddy, that one of the things I want to do is I want to have somebody on to talk about women's issues around the world, right? And I want to have my sister back on, I want to have Julia back on, and just talk about this, because I can't believe that the women in Saudi Arabia aren't rising up and doing something. I know they don't have a lot of rights, but, man, start cutting guys' dicks off, man.
I don't think they ever have, and they never had that capability, to be honest
but
with you.
do anything, man. I don't know what it is. Start a fire. I don't know what it is, man. I mean, do something, because this whole guy-centric thing, it's just not right. I mean, I get it. If you're a dude in Saudi Arabia, you probably love it there, right? You're the king of everything. Yeah. But you can't treat women like this. It's just not fucking right, man. And it's I don't know, man.
There's so many rules, and they got to have the thing on their head, and they can't touch anybody, and it's ridiculous. It's been there for their whole life, and how to get out of that, I have no idea.
Well, the problem is
start cutting dicks off, man. I'm telling you.
The problem is with closed societies, like even in America, you can extrapolate this to here. The problem is you can change everything you want. You just cannot get that type of organization and coordination between the masses to do it, because we can change everything if we wanted to collectively. We just don't have we're just too too blasé. We don't have the will to do it.
All right, so Teddy, I'm calling you out right now, and here's what I'm saying. You get elected president, okay? Here's what I want you to do. I want you first thing, man, or not first thing, but one of the first things, I want you to just send a strongly worded letter to Saudi Arabia, right, with your middle finger, and say, fuck you, we're not doing this anymore, man. I'm not going to shake your hand. I'm not going to go over there. I don't give a fuck about your oil. I don't give a fuck about your money. If you don't want to send it over here, we'll do something else. But this shit can't happen, man. It's not real.
Yeah, well, the thing you have to understand, when you're talking to somebody, like I said, Saudi Arabia, like Joe Biden, like, he just recently went over there, fist bumped.
They all listen. Yeah. Every
single
kiss the
ring.
So you got to be the different guy.
The point is, like Vladimir Putin, like, okay, we're punishing Vladimir Putin with sanctions. Vladimir Putin has, like, let's just say he has $200-300 billion. Right. You're not punishing him at all. Vladimir Putin and his family is not being punished whatsoever. The people of Russia are being punished, but not him. Right. So he's the last to go. So unless you literally go scorched earth on the country where he's literally dead, you're not punishing him at all. Just like Saudi Arabia, you can send letters, you can say I condemn this, blah blah blah. It doesn't mean anything to those guys because when you get $1 billion, you could do anything you want.
You know what?
Anything
but
you
maybe,
want.
Maybe we need a president to stand up, okay, and just do this thing. Fuck you, Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
We're not doing it.
As an American president,
I'm not shaking your hands. I'm not doing any of that shit.
All you could do is just like strengthen your country and just freeze out your enemies or your perceived enemies, and then just say, if you come over here, something really bad is going to happen to you, and I don't give a fuck if our allies say, because, number one, if you do something bad to your enemies, your allies, they might quote-unquote condemn you in the news next day, but they're not going to do shit against you.
No,
we know that, right? So, for example, if China invaded Taiwan tomorrow, you know what the U.S. would say? We strongly condemn this. Our hearts are broken. We're outraged. But, there's not a damn thing they can do about it.
And see, that's the other thing.
There's not a damn thing they can do about it.
That's going to happen.
Not a damn thing. If China went to Taiwan tomorrow, do you think America is going to send thousands of troops and equipment to Taiwan, which is thousands of miles away from you? Yeah, that's not going to happen.
A lot of businesses have their product built there, so they might actually, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
The money's
Well, here's the other thing. I don't understand China's hard-on with Taiwan. I mean,
what about how Russia's hard on with Ukraine?
Yeah, I just don't get it, man. I mean, you have this giant country. Who gives a shit about Taiwan? Just let them be, man. I don't understand
it's just
it's
optics.
the money.
It's just
the money that they're making too.
Yeah, it's just optics. It's just optics. That's all it is.
I can see that. Okay, so the second thing, and this is a big thing, and there's two things that happened, in the last 7 days that really stood out to me, and I said, listen, this is something I got to talk about this, and this is something that's got to be a focus because it really blows my mind. Okay, the second thing is free speech. Okay, now free speech is a thing, but I still have a kind of a problem with this. Okay, do you guys remember the movie The American President with Michael Douglas?
I do not.
Yeah, vaguely.
Okay. Yeah. So it was really good. It was kind of a feel good about politics. Like all politicians aren't like human pieces of waste, right? And he had a great quote about the freedom of speech. Okay, and I'm going to say it right now because this is really important. He said, "You want free speech? Let's see you acknowledge a man whose words make your blood boil, who's standing center stage and advocating at the top of his lungs that which you would spend a lifetime opposing at the top of yours." And I always thought that was one of the greatest things in the world.
That's a good line.
Right? Because that's free speech. So when all these assholes are talking about abortion and doing all this stuff, right? And they have to have the right to say it, okay? Now, here's my problem, okay? There's a Republican running, of course, for the House in Florida, right? And he sent out a tweet, and he said this. This is what the guy said. "Under my plan, all Floridians will have the permission to shoot FBI, IRS, ATF, and all federal agents on site. Let freedom ring."
See that? They use free speech just to hide, and that's a threat to these organizations, to people. I mean, that is bullshit, and that happens all the time. They use the free speech to say whatever the fuck they want, but it's not right.
Right. And it's so messed up because when I saw that, I was just like, when I read that, I was just like, I can't believe it, right? But and he's able to send this out, and worse yet, and this is the worst part, there are people who agree with him, right? And these are the same people that would scream at the top of their lungs that the government wasn't helping them when they needed it, right? But here's the thing, man. All of those federal agents, they risk their lives every single day.
And they're just following orders. They're just following, here's the investigation you got to do. We're investigating Ted, we're investigating you, and they just got to do it. So
right.
It's not their fault.
But they're in every day they go to work, they could die, right? Okay, so we can do stupid podcasts like this, so we can travel safely, so we can have lives. Well, okay, not the IRS agents, but, you don't really want to kill an IRS agent. Here's what I would do. A nasty look or a good old-fashioned finger pointing, I think, will take care of them, right? But my worry is that these people won't protect our freedoms, and they're not going to want to do these jobs because of assholes like this.
Well, I think the big takeaway from this is you're demonizing the opposition because they're doing something against you that you don't like. So whether they're doing it lawfully or not is irrelevant because they're doing it because the opposition doesn't like it. So like anything, you're only a terrorist. You're like, for example, if you're the government and there's a quote unquote terrorist organization, it's just because they're trying to topple the government. But so if the terrorist organization is in charge, then they're the government. So we label people certain ways, but only the powerful groups label certain people certain ways because it's a threat to their power.
Well, it's
so
kind of
you have to remember that.
It's kind of no different than cops too, and just there's a lot of bad things that happen, but they say every cop and defund the police and all this stuff, and it just I have a lot of cop friends, I have a lot of cop relatives.
Oh yeah,
and no one wants. Would you want to be a cop? They're all retiring, and they're like they do not want any part of this.
No.
But again, because everybody's demonized, like you just said, just based on there's been a bunch of bad things. Another thing happened, I think, yesterday I saw in the news, which was ridiculous.
Here's a simple example. So going back way back. So Fidel Castro, who was obviously the leader of Cuba for 50 years. So when he took over Cuba back in the 50s, he was the terrorist, and then the government. And then when he finally toppled the government, he was the government. So the terrorist became the government. So again, we're just talking about labels that just groups in power use against groups that are a threat to their power. So everything's just relative, if you think of it that way.
No. Listen. I totally get it, right? And so I mean, I had a boss who was a total dick. Okay, and I get it.
Is he a listener?
Yeah. You know what? I hope not. Okay, and I know that when people start saying things, right, that it's hard to deal with, right? And so after 25 years, I quit because I just couldn't deal with his shittiness, right? And I know good people get screwed, but here's the thing. All those people, all those government agencies, and all those people that every day risk their lives. Yep. Listen, you need to hear this. We appreciate you. We do.
Absolutely.
And listen. Every day that I get to wake up, okay, and I get to have a cup of coffee, and I get to not go to work because I'm a lazy piece of shit, right? But we appreciate you. So don't stop doing what you're doing. But I have a plan, because when guys say stuff like this, they want you to roar back, right? They say something stupid, they want you to roar back, but don't. I got an idea. So for all the government agencies, if this guy, and his name is Luis Miguel, by the way, his name is Luis Miguel, this guy from Florida, if he calls you and he needs help, go help him. But do this. Drive a little bit slower, okay? When you're rushing to go to help someone and it's Luis Miguel, drive a little slower, okay? Get out of your car a little slower, okay? Don't be as polite as you would be to any other person. Yeah. But you still got to help this guy, because anything you do that's not that, he's going to take the wrong way. And we're not going to yell about it, right? We're not going to yell about it. But it's time to start ignoring people like this and just push them to the side, because that is not what America is. That is such craziness.
The sad part of this is there's so many, like you said, the House of Representatives, there's 400 or something, but there's so many constituents, and there's groups of people that believe in this and want to hear that. And that's the sad part. Like you mentioned Mary Miller a long time ago. She's from Southern Illinois. I looked her up. She went to Naperville Central, where your wife went. So she's not, and she actually, they tried to get Chicago as a 51st state to get out of Illinois. They spent money and time on this stuff. This is the crazy that's out there.
Yeah.
And they're the same ones. They're doing all this, whatever they have to support. Well, if they're going to go after, we're not supposed to talk about Trump and go after the FBI, they're going to say this.
Here's the big takeaway. So here's the forest and not the trees. The forest is whatever group is in power, no matter what their label is, they want to stay in power. And when there's a group threatening their power, they're going to demonize that other side to make them look like they're the devil incarnate. For example, the January 6th riots. We're still talking about the January 6th riots to this day. It's
tiresome.
Constantly,
it is.
Committee after committee. And let's just say finally Trump gets indicted for whatever. How is that going to improve the quality? Okay, cool. Trump's in jail. That's like Rob Blagojevich in jail. Okay, cool. Is that going to make our life better? Of course it's not. But the point is, so Congress, for example, only works as a team when there's a threat to their direct power. If the Senate, if there's a threat to direct power,
you mean talk about term limits and stuff like that?
Yeah, when it's a threat to their direct power, that's when they get together and meet and have a sense of urgency. But when it comes time to help the American people, that's when it takes months and months. We have to recess Congress. We're on break for Christmas break. So when there's a threat to their direct power, that's the only time there's a sense of urgency. So just keep that in mind going forward, regardless of what the threat is.
And that is the sadness of the two-party system right now. Your daughter was saying, we got a two-party system, but right now, I've been in business for a long time. If we had any business, you'd have two sides. Yeah, you might not like the CEO, but he has one vision, and everybody's got to collaborate and work towards his goal. And why does this not work? Because we have two parties that are just in either direction. They're only going to do what they do to keep the power. What Ted just mentioned.
Oh yeah,
and it's just a waste of time. So no organization could work like that, and that's why everything's unsuccessful.
That's why we need. That's why we need a third party.
And that's the problem with.
We have to have a third party.
That's the problem with politicians because it's really all about. It's all about them, and not really. It's not really about public service. Because if it really is about public service, you're not worried about yourself. You're worried about helping the collective people in general, and that's why they fail.
Well,
because they're not helping the people. Yeah. They're just helping themselves through patronage, their family, their friends, through
because they know they're going to be elected for
self-dealing.
How many decades?
Right, exactly.
How many decades of some of these decades?
It goes back to my point. Why would somebody spend $1 billion to get a job that pays $400,000 a year? Ask yourself that question.
Well, some asshole from
would do that.
Some asshole from Alaska was in the Senate, and he just died after 45 years of service, and he was a piece of garbage. But 45 years. Yeah. 45 years and nobody in Alaska. I mean, but it's the same thing. It's all these same people. Dick Durbin, all these people. Yeah. It's their little fiefdom, and they can do whatever they want.
Exactly.
I heard Sarah Palin's coming back. Sarah
Palin's coming back.
And like
brother.
I said, all these people on TV. I mean, I'm sure there's people who legitimately don't like each other, but most of these people who go on TV and say, "Oh, I disagree with you," they're all friends behind closed doors. They're in the congressional bar or the Senate lounge, having whiskey sours with each other, with cigars, toasting each other, laughing their ass off. For example,
sounds like a good time.
I think George Bush was on the golf course.
I do not smoke cigars.
George Bush, the younger one was on the golf course after the Iraq War. He was playing golf, and I think they had to interview him for about and did you know like 20,000 service people died? He goes, my thoughts and prayers go out to them. And then 10 seconds later, can somebody hand me my 9-iron? Yeah, he doesn't give a shit about anybody, about fucking anybody. Yeah. So
but
again,
that was your tip. It was an unfortunate state of affairs.
It was an unfortunate state of affairs.
So that's what he did.
It was an unfortunate state of affairs.
So he's following your tip.
Again,
that's why he's president.
But like I said, they're playing to the ignorant masses, which have existed throughout history.
Yeah,
which is unfortunate.
So I think this is a Gandhi quote. Okay, and
he was he was a pedophile, by the way.
Gandhi was a pedophile?
Yes, he was. I'm sorry.
Never heard of that before.
Yeah, I'm sorry. He was.
Okay,
yeah, but I mean, he's a great guy, but he's still a pedophile.
So at no point are we. The Real Three Idiots would like to step back from the statement that Gandhi was a pedophile until John can Google it and prove it.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. But I think Gandhi had a quote, and I think everybody did. If you try to win a douchebag battle by being a douchebag, it only leaves a world full of douchebags. I think that was the quote he had, right? Wasn't that the quote?
I'm sure he used douchebag 3 times.
And something about blindness too. I don't remember any of that. Okay.
Was there anything about young children in there? Because he was a pedophile. Apparently.
Well, I thought jerking off led to blindness.
Ted, if that was the case, wait, where's my microphone? Hold on. Oh, yeah, no, that's ridiculous. Okay,
Miss Keller.
So all right. So I want to stick on politics for just a little bit more because, man, it's just so insane. But there, this is weird to me. If you live in Oklahoma, okay,
sorry about that,
and you're voting, we have a friend. Our friend Mikey, right? Our friend Mike is from Oklahoma. Okay. Before you voted, I hope you did your research on your candidates, right? Because there's, again, primaries today, right? There's a fella named Scott Esk who is running for Congress in Oklahoma, okay? And Scott Esk has a lot of yeses, okay? So yes, according to his wife, he did physically and mentally abuse her and her kids, okay? Yes.
She admitted this already.
Well, she said it. Okay. So yes, according to the pastor of Scott Esk's church, he did harass members of the church. Okay. Yes, he does want to make getting a divorce harder in Oklahoma after his wife filed for a divorce. Okay, but no. Here's a no. You ready? It's not all yes. No, he is not going to try to make homosexuality a capital offense. In Oklahoma.
I just remembered there's a politician right now to this day. I don't know what state, but he's actually advocating stoning homosexuals to death. Is that the
Teddy,
guy?
Oh, thank you very much.
I just told the punchline.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, Ted. Yes.
That's the guy.
He says that people should be able to stone homosexuals to death.
Yeah.
Because in the Bible it's A-okay.
You mean the pretend Bible?
Does it really say stoning homosexuals in the Bible somewhere?
That we don't know who wrote it?
Yeah.
We don't know who wrote the Bible. Yeah, so.
Ted, I wasn't there. I don't know who wrote the Bible. But listen. And here's the weirdest part of all of that, right?
It gets worse.
Yeah, Ted, he is basically tied. Tomorrow we could wake up and this guy could be a member of the Oklahoma Senate.
This is the sad part. Like, how does that history, and that never used to be the case. That history
but
get you elected.
But you know what? If somebody votes for this guy, then they get the politician they deserve, just like every society gets the type of criminal it deserves, right? I mean, so if they vote for that guy, that's on them.
Teddy, this guy straight up said that he would make it legal to kill homosexuals.
But and why does he care? Why does he care what anybody's doing in their own house?
We know why, Steve. We know why. Ted? Hold on, Ted. I will ask you one question. When someone really, really hates homosexuals, why do they hate them?
Because they want to hang out at the Forest Preserve at 2 a.m.
Hell yeah, they do. They want to park their car back. They want to back in their car.
So you guys are KG. Maybe you should go to the Forest Preserve at 2 a.m. and then see who shows up.
Dude, listen to me. I am 100% sure that every single person, and it's all guys, right? It's heavy guys. Every single guy who is so anti-gay that they just say insane things is just looking for the dick, man.
Super repressed.
Super repressed, man. I can't believe it's just one of those things. All right. Do you guys have an extra $94 billion?
Not right now.
Not this minute.
Ted? Okay.
Sorry.
Give me a couple months.
Then Ferdinand Marcos Jr., or as we call him, Bong Bong, is not going to talk to you. Ferdinand Marcos Jr. is looking for $94 billion from the American government to help the Philippines.
Good luck with that.
Not million, but billion?
Billion.
Oh, okay.
Billion. And that's about $84 billion more than his mommy and daddy stole from the country when they ran the country.
Sure.
Yeah. So are you guys up for that? Do you guys have?
Well, how about just get back the stolen funds that their parents stole, and then he'd be all good to go.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Just why don't you get a loan from your folks? They have $10 billion they stole from your country already. I mean, listen, there's no way America gives him the son of the guy
we don't know what America's going to do because America's done some stupid shit.
But come on, man, we can't give a thief
son. How much did we give Afghanistan over the last 20 years? I'm not going to Google it, but I mean, $20 billion?
John. No, yeah. Wait, we give Afghanistan 20. What are they doing with it? It's all just mountains.
No, it's gone. It's gone. It's dust in the wind.
So what is he going to do with this $94 billion?
He's going to make the Philippines way, way better.
And how's that going to help us? Like, why would we even do that?
Right. Listen, I feel sorry for all the people in the Philippines.
What natural resources does the Philippines have that we need as America that helps Americans' interests?
Is that where Keith Richards gets his heroin? I have no idea.
Maybe. Does the Philippines have the bomb? Do they have nuclear weapons?
Listen, I want to help people. I want to help people, but I don't think that after electing the son of the people
because I'm sure
who stole $10 billion.
And why is the son being the next president? Because obviously he's the son of the former president, but he's obviously not the best qualified guy because he's just happens to be the lottery, the son of the former president. That's the only reason he's the president.
Yeah.
He's not the best guy for the job, just like the current president here is not the best guy for the job. It's just political. Just like the people on the Supreme Court are not the best people to be on the Supreme Court. You know, why is there even a Supreme Court? Why do we even have a Supreme Court? It doesn't make any sense.
Because of magic words, checks and balances.
Yeah.
Checks and balances. What? I have no idea.
How about checkmate?
I have no idea. Listen. So the Congress is 100 people, right? So think about the numbers here.
Senate's 100.
Oh,
Senate's
100. Okay.
The Senate's 100 people.
Yeah.
The president's one guy, one person,
Yeah.
right? So far it's been one guy, so that's 101. Yeah. The Supreme Court is 9. 110 people basically control our entire country.
And then 435 people in Congress. And then the hidden bureaucracy that we don't know, who've been there forever, who are unelected.
But think about that.
But the unelected officials who are there.
110 people.
Well, not just them, but the unelected officials that we have no knowledge of it whatsoever. Are in charge of everything.
The Stones and all those goofy ass.
Whatever, the lifetime bureaucrats, that nobody voted for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Listen,
but even our whole life, I don't remember hearing much about the Supreme Court, to be honest with you. Now, all of a sudden, it's so political. You got 9 people making these decisions all the time. I mean, Roe versus Wade. I mean, there's so many things.
I'll go back to the Supreme Court. So we talked about this before. The Supreme Court back in the 1800s, Dred Scott decision. They said this isn't the KKK. This isn't the Grand Wizards of the Ku Klux Klan. They said the Supreme Court of the United States said the most learned men in the United States said a black person is not even a person; they're a piece of property. Right. This is not coming from the Grand Wizards of the Ku Klux Klan in Arkansas. This is the Supreme Court of the United States said Dred Scott. That's the Dred Scott decision. So that's all you need to know about the Supreme Court. How fucking retarded they are.
And 9 people, part of my point. That's way too small population for that much power.
Yeah, these are guys who went to Harvard Law School, Yale, Dartmouth, Brown. That's what they came up with.
So that's
what they fucking came up with.
That is funny.
That's all you need to know about the Supreme Court.
I still want to drink with Kavanaugh. He sounds like a good time.
Yeah, I'm cool. I drink beer.
Yeah,
sure.
He's a cheap drunk. He's like three beers.
So Teddy and I were drinking on Sunday, right? Yes, we drink every day of the week.
You're drinking less though now.
Yeah, way less. Hold on a second, my beer is almost empty. So Teddy and I were drinking Sunday, and he tells me this. So I'm railing on the Supreme Court and what pieces of shit they are, and he goes, at one point the Supreme Court said it was okay to own black people, and then all of a sudden I just thought, man, why do we have these guys? Yeah. Like, man, that doesn't make any sense to me.
Not even own black people, but just black people aren't even
people.
They're people. They're just
property.
They're like property.
Ridiculous.
They called it chattel. Chattel is property. Just like if I own this bottle or this microphone or this piece of paper,
that's a bottle of Crown Royal. By the way.
That's what they were.
Yeah. That's good sound effect.
Yeah. That's Teddy's bottle of Crown Royal. Okay. All right. So, guys, oh, man, perfect. We got time for one last thing. So I'm going to ask you guys a question, and I want you to answer honestly, and I want you to think back through your whole lives, okay? Did you guys ever screw something up at work, like big time? Ever really made like a giant mistake? I'll tell you mine, okay? And then you guys can tell me yours. So obviously I've been teaching for 25 years, okay? And we started doing our grades online, on the computer, okay? And so I'm doing my thing, and it's the last day of grades. You know, we've had 10 weeks of school, right? And I'm hitting the save button, and I'm Mr. Computers, and I'm so smart. And I hit the button, and I nuked every single grade from every single kid that I did. They was gone.
Would you press the delete button, or would you press?
Dude, I have no idea. So the beauty of it is I backed nothing up. I had no paper trail. I had nothing. That was a major screw up. Have you guys ever really screwed up at work?
I have many times. I mean, I'm an accountant auditor, so it's boring stories, but I had an audit go bad that I was part of. It was a jewelry store. And the inventory and these bags and stuff, it was big. And in hindsight, I could have done more, but at the end of the day, it was what it was. And then, everything went back.
Oh, you know what? And I want to thank you for the watches and stuff from that.
Yeah,
that was really great. That bag went miss. I mean, whatever.
At the end of the day,
that artwork, those diamonds. Thank you.
That's what it was. It was diamonds. At the end of the day, when they knew they were losing money, these guys just took off. These bags had millions of dollars.
It's a tax write-off. It's okay.
Millions of dollars of inventory they just took off with. But at the end of the day, the work papers were bad and all this stuff. We lost them. Actually, I think I lost them. so when the lawsuit was coming through, it's like we couldn't even back this stuff up. But that was one time. But
okay,
the partner on the job got screwed on that.
Yeah. Teddy, ever make a mistake?
I've actually never made a mistake at work, but I did point out a huge mistake on the part of the people I was representing, where I basically pointed out they were completely incompetent, and they didn't like that.
So that was kind of a mistake.
Well, it was a mistake to point out their extreme ignorance and incompetence, and I should have just been politically correct and just been just bit my tongue. But sometimes you get
sometimes you got to do that.
You get a little pride sometimes, What the hell? Just threw the Hail Mary. What the hell?
Listen, I understand. So here's what I want to do. I want to set up a scenario, okay? So say you're creating something for work, okay? You probably need to do two things. Like, people are going to see this, right? So two things. Number one, and I think this is really important, make sure everything is spelled correctly, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're creating, I don't know, like a poster or some kind of advertisement on TV or whatever, you got to make sure everything's spelled correctly. Does that kind of make sense?
Well,
Absolutely.
I think that's mandatory,
Okay.
I used to at work. Remember George used to play basketball with us? We used to be the grammar police. When these emails would come out, we would just like rip on these people. Like, can you really do this and send this to the whole company?
Yeah.
It's hysterical.
So here,
spelling mistakes.
Funny
grammar.
story. And again, this is the same boss I've had. He would send out emails okay, and actually all my administration, they would send out emails that would be, number one, this is the funniest part of this whole thing. They would send out an email. The first email, whatever information was on it was totally wrong. Then they sent out a second email, said, oh, let me get corrections, right? Then they would immediately, everybody on the staff would send out things and be like, all of this is wrong. And then every email that was sent out for everything came out 3 times because it was wrong twice. Every single time.
But don't you lose credibility when you do that? Because I mean, you lose faith in the person.
Ted, we used to laugh. It was a joke.
If somebody's above you, and here's it's like a golf tip. Okay, if I'm taking golf lessons from a person that I can beat, I don't respect you.
Ted, there's no one on the planet you can beat.
But if I could, I would not respect them.
The only guy you couldn't take tips from is Man Gravy and Billy. That's it, because you could beat everybody else.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my God.
So right. I worked with a guy years ago. I got to tell this funny story. So we said defense counsel, which is COUNSEL. He said counsel, which is CON. SOLE, like a counsel,
right.
like a gaming console. Right. So I had to go up to him and say, "Hey, dude, you've been saying this wrong. You've been saying this wrong the whole fucking time. You've been saying Atari like an Atari console. It's counsel. It's like the ground versus the floor. Inside is the floor. Outside is the ground. The ground is not the fucking floor."
I missed that argument. Teddy, you are literally bringing back. You are literally bringing back like episode 3 or 4. That is awesome.
Steve, is this the floor or the ground?
Ground.
That is no.
He's smarter than me, but he's wrong.
I just want to do the opposite.
Okay, so number one, if you're putting something out there, it has to be spelled correctly, because obviously Steve and I we have problems with that. You have problems with that.
Well, it's about credibility.
It is
because if you're looking to somebody who's smarter than you, and like I said, if you perceive somebody who's over you and you're smarter than them, you're never going to respect them.
Yeah.
Right. It's just that simple, right?
No, listen, I get it. Okay. So
I mean, I don't mind someone treating me like shit, but if you're smarter than me, like, cool, I'm cool with that because you know more than me. But if I think I know more than you,
that is scary. If you know,
I'm poisoning your soup.
And if you don't eat the soup, you're falling down the steps.
That's your wife. That's your wife.
With susnocholine.
Okay, so number one, spelling correctly. Number two, but only slightly less important than the spelling, is make sure that you don't have any pictures of white hooded KKK members in the background.
Is this the Virginia governor?
No, Ted. Ted. Listen, this is the two most important things you can remember if you are creating any kind of media.
How does that happen?
Number one, spell everything right. Number two, do not have any pictures that have white hooded KKK members in the background. And you're saying to this, Ted, you're saying that's ridiculous, right? Stop yourself. A Republican group in Alabama accidentally, hold on, I'm doing air quotes.
There's no accidents, but go ahead.
Accidentally used a picture of a GOP elephant that had, kind of in the background, hooded KKK members. That's what they sent out. And they sent that out to every single place in the whole wide world.
So have you ever been a part of email that went bad? There's a lot of good stories. I was at this place. And I went on vacation, and so this was early email where all of a sudden I'm starting at the beginning and like, we apologize for this, and I'm just like, oh my God, what just happened? And I heard my friend Ray actually sent this email out. He sent the email. He went on the managing person of our firm on his computer and just said, "I'm not wearing any underwear." So I unwinded two days of emails and just apologies and this, and I couldn't wait for like the punchline. I can't believe that's what he did. It was hysterical. Went to everybody, went to all the clients, went everywhere.
Why would he say
that seems less than hysterical to me.
Why would he say something like that?
I don't know. He just really hated this guy, and he just wanted to.
So his emotions got in the way.
Yeah. But he did it as a joke. He was a funny guy, and he thought that was
actually
funny.
That's not
okay. I got to be 100% honest with you.
That's not funny.
Yeah. I mean, come on, man. How is that? Listen,
if you knew this guy was hysterical.
Okay, yeah. but I like to think of myself as a kind of funny guy. If I got on my boss's email and sent something like that, I think they call that like crime.
It was late '90s, so it was a lot more liberal back then.
A lot more leeway back then.
Absolutely,
okay,
yeah.
Wow. Okay, so here's what we know. Okay, it's out there. This Alabama GOP, they send out this picture of this GOP. So they sent out a picture of an elephant, like a GOP elephant, right? But in the background is hooded KKK members. All it's in there, right? Now, here's the thing. Now, I hardly ever look at the background in any pictures to see if there's KKK members, I don't know, swastikas, pictures of Hitler. But I feel like if I was in charge of something,
there you go again.
Yeah, well, but I mean, like if I was in charge of something,
you got to review.
Yeah, I feel like there's probably about 3 billion pictures of GOP elephants, and they picked the one that has a reference to white supremacy.
Wait. So there's no vetting process. There's not somebody who says I'm going to put this picture out, and then there's like 2 guys like you who say, "Hey, man, you shouldn't do that because."
Well, Teddy, I told you that's like at my job.
Once you hit that button,
I had my idiot boss who would send out an email and then say that hey, on Tuesday we're doing this, on Wednesday we're doing this, on Thursday school's closed, and. None of that was accurate.
Yeah.
We're not doing anything on Tuesday. Wednesday, school's closed, and Thursday we're doing this.
You know, it's like
there's nobody to check.
Like if I'm Steve's assistant and he's like, "Hey, man, I'm going to send this out." I'm like, "Well, let me look at it first." I'm like, I don't think this is a good idea. You might want to just take this part out. Just
Steve,
take this one part
might
out.
want to take out the swastikas. And that really awesome picture of Hitler jogging down the street. Yeah, those 2 things are really bad, man.
With all due respect. Yeah. With all due respect.
which means I don't respect
Once you hit that button, there is no vetting. There's not sending it to your assistant stuff. You're just hitting the button and then it's gone.
But I mean, if you're in charge of something really big, right? Do you just you just randomly like
you shouldn't.
At no point do you just like, all right, man, I got this picture. I'm not really looking. What's going on? What'd you do last night, dude? I got super high. And I sent out something for our entire GOP, man. It's gonna be awesome.
I mean, if I was like the personal assistant to like some like heavy duty guy who made a lot of money, and he's like, "Hey, you're my personal assistant. I need you to be my eyes and ears." I'm like, "Sir, I would strongly recommend that you don't do this."
But you know what?
With all due respect.
But here's the funniest thing. It didn't happen in like Idaho. I don't know. I'm trying to think of like a heavily Republican place. It didn't happen in any place. It happened in Alabama. When I say Alabama, it just sounds like they did it. Like they're just like, hey man, I'm doing this. Right?
Did they care?
I love Alabama.
Right. Do they care?
I've been to Alabama.
You have?
Yeah, I've been to Montgomery. I've been to.
For what reason, Ted?
It's a vacation.
You vacation in Montgomery, Alabama?
I've been to Alabama.
That's bullshit.
Birmingham, Montgomery. Yeah, beautiful state. Beautiful state.
Okay. So. All right. Before we wrap this up, okay, and we get to our final words.
A lot of trees in KKK, or what's over
there? Yeah, I don't know.
I remember there was a Top Golf in Birmingham.
Oh, really? Really?
And shrimp and grits.
I love, dude. Shrimp and grits is one of my
in the South
favorite things of all time, man.
So yummy.
Listen, we make some awesome shrimp and grits. Yeah, we make some awesome. Okay, so real quick before everybody goes, I want to do this. There's a petition out to save Johnny Depp and have him come back as Jack Sparrow. They've got 1 million signatures. Please get online, and this is really important. Instead of finding out, who your leaders are and what kind of things that they're interested in, get online and bring back Johnny Depp as Captain Jack Sparrow, because it'll change your life.
He needs these signatures, otherwise you can't do it.
So let me ask you,
1 million signatures, somebody gives a shit.
Let me ask you this. Let's just say Johnny Depp is completely canceled and he never comes back ever. Is he still worth $100 million? Is he still living a better life than all 3 of us put together?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we don't give a fuck about Johnny Depp.
Wait a minute.
His fucking feelings.
No. You know why?
I mean, I'd love to see him in Pirates. I mean, he's pretty good in Pirates of the Caribbean. But I mean,
yep.
I ain't signing shit.
Ted, his life is not better.
Oh, it's not.
Yeah. Has anybody shit in your bed? Wait. Has anybody ever shit in your bed?
I mean, not a hot chick lately. But yes.
Wait, are you saying other people shit in your bed?
Maybe like a dog or something.
Ted, put the dog down. Put the dog down immediately, right now.
Would you say who let the dogs out? Is that what you said?
Teddy, that is the worst. Okay, guys, it has been a fantastic show, man. I tell you what, man, as much as I love 1090 Brewing, and they were fantastic. They're the only ones that said yes, by the way, to have our show on there, and they were totally cool. I like this so much better, man. It's just so much better to be here. I feel so much more relaxed.
You guys are more comfortable. It's relaxing. You don't have all the distractions.
It's a safe space.
It is. You know what?
Yeah.
I feel like this is a safe. You can say anything you want. I mean, is that waitress wearing? Is she wearing white panties? No, sorry. I'm just getting it. All right. So we got to put this thing down. And Steve, I'm going to give you last word. What would you like to leave everybody with before we finish?
You know, I had this sheet of paper with all these notes on there, and I didn't even talk about any of those, which is kind of funny.
That's my fault. That is
your fault. But I had one thing on here. You've been talking about Florida. And conceal and carry in Florida, you can carry an AR-15 if you're fishing and going or coming from fishing. So there's this big thing where people are walking to the beach with an AR-15 and a fishing pole, and it's okay because that is the rule. And I don't know why you need a AR-15 to fish. I thought you catch a fish with a pole and a hook and bait and stuff.
Have you ever fished for like a marlin?
And you got to shoot them. You got to shoot them.
Wait,
hold on.
Didn't someone just catch it? Didn't someone just catch like a marlin worth like $4 million? It was like a white marlin or something in Florida.
But you catch it with a fishing pole.
Like $4 million.
All marlins are the same. They're just marlins.
No, this marlin was really special.
No,
but you don't shoot them. But the funny thing is, it's like, why is that part of?
You mean like walking?
Like hunting, you can understand, and we can talk to your friend about that. Like, why fishing is okay to walk around with a gun? It's just a funny thing that I came across.
I'm telling you, everything that everything that Florida does, and we have tons of listeners in Florida. Okay. Oh, by the way, you know what I almost forgot? Welcome to the show, United Kingdom.
Really?
Welcome to the show, United Kingdom.
Thank you, UK.
Another country.
Welcome on board.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, man, Florida is like, it's like this weird other place. Okay, it's like if there were 10 planets, they would be this weird like space station that wouldn't want to live on any of the planets.
Wait, they're like Pluto?
Yeah, they would be the Pluto.
Which isn't even like Pluto anymore. Isn't Pluto not even
Pluto's
a planet
not
anymore?
a planet. It's
planet?
Florida. Pluto is not a planet. It is now Florida. Yeah, it's so weird,
it's
right?
a dead rock star.
Yeah, it's so weird. Okay, so Teddy, what would be your last words for everybody?
I had really some poignant things to say, but I'm just...
No, you don't. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Just say don't die and move on.
This is what I would do at the bar. So I'm sorry, Teddy. Go ahead. What are your last words?
Oh, I was just glad to be here tonight, and thank you for your time. That's it.
God.
Good luck to the softball team tonight.
Yeah.
Good luck in your future endeavors.
Yeah. I hope they win. So listen. The two things I really want to leave you with is this whole thing in Saudi Arabia. It's just come to a place now. We can't be a planet. We can't be a group of people that let this happen. It can't be a thing anymore, man.
I concur.
Yeah. When I read this, I was just like, it was like the icing on the cake, man. It just can't be a thing anymore. So we have to do better. Okay. If they're not going to do better, then we have to do better. Okay. And number two, this whole thing with Luis Miguel, like saying that there's open, it's target practice on all these federal people and stuff. Listen, we can't let that happen, okay? And we can't yell about it. So we have to be better and just eliminate him, okay? And I don't mean like no. I don't mean like eliminate him, like kill him, okay? I mean like silence him. Just ignore him. Just move on. Don't give him a voice. Don't give him any of these things. And just from here on out, when he talks, we just turn our backs, okay? We just turn our backs and walk away. And people who agree with him, we just turn our backs and walk away. We're not going to out-yell them. We're not going to out-whatever them. We're just going to start ignoring them. And that's the way we need to do this. So when these people have these insane things that they say, no more. No more. Let's just be better than that, right? Because, listen, we're three idiots, and I feel like we're better than that. You guys are not. So I think it's just going to be an easy thing to do, man. I really do. I really think it's going to be easy.
So all the idiots of the world, just be better.
Oh, man. You know what? You know what I'm calling for? All the idiots of the world unite and just cancel this guy out. All
Perfect.
right. All right. Hey, man, it was a great show. I love this. We will be back in the basement studio next week. I literally have no idea what's going to happen. I have no idea who's going to be here. But, well, except for me and Ted, that's all I know. So everybody have a great week. Enjoy what you are doing. And, hey, man, have fun. I know I will.